If you're a collector of anything, whether it's books, vinyl records, or maybe some really fine spirits, you know that feeling, right? The thrill of the hunt is amazing. But then comes the joy of the display. How we decide to show off the things we're passionate about, well, it says a lot about what they mean to us. It's so much more than just storage. It's really a celebration. So let's talk about that. When it comes to a whiskey collection you've spent years curating, what's the best way to show it off? You've got these incredible bottles, and every single one has its own unique story. How do you find a home for them that actually does them justice? And that question right there, that leads us to what you could call a collector's display dilemma. It's this point every enthusiast hits, where your collection goes from just being a hobby and really starts to become a huge part of your home's personality. Yeah, because as that collection grows, a simple bookshelf or just a standard cabinet, it starts to feel, I don't know, a little inadequate. Sure, it's functional, but it has zero personality. It just doesn't reflect the history and the character you've so carefully brought together. You need something that's as unique as the bottles themselves. So, what's the answer? What if the display itself had just as much of a story to tell as the whiskey it's holding? This gets us to a really fascinating idea. Forget about brand new materials, and instead, look to things that have already lived a full, rich life. And the answer is right there in the wood that's already had a pretty amazing life. We are talking about the actual staves and lids from authentic, retired whiskey and wine barrels. I mean, think about it. This isn't just wood. These are artifacts that have spent years and years aging the very spirits we love. And here's what's so cool about it. The whole point is to preserve that history. You're not trying to sand away its past life. No. That deep char from inside a bourbon barrel or that incredible red stain from a wine cask, that becomes the main feature. The character is the entire point. Which brings us to this perfect term for it, usable art. It just nails what these pieces are. They are meticulously repurposed, not just recycled. They serve a real, everyday function, holding your bottles, but they do it with the historical weight and the pure beauty of an art piece. But, of course, a barrel doesn't just magically transform itself. This is where the human touch comes in, that skilled craftsmanship that can take a retired old object and turn it into a piece of furniture you'll treasure forever. And we're not talking about some anonymous factory assembly line here. The makers are right there, highlighted by name, Tom and Karen. And that adds such a personal touch, doesn't it? It's a great reminder that every single piece is shaped by hand with real care and attention. And these core values really drive that home. Being made in the USA and being 100% handmade, that speaks to a serious dedication to quality. And the fact that you can get custom engraving, that's amazing. It means you can literally add your own story to a piece that's already overflowing with history. Okay, so we've got the historic material, we've got the incredible craftsmanship. Now let's talk about the final destination, your home. How does a piece of usable art like this actually change a space? This right here really explains the difference. A standard rack, it holds bottles. That's it. But a piece made from an old barrel, wow, it does so much more. It holds stories. It instantly creates a focal point in a room. And I love this one. It offers reverence, a real sense of respect for both the spirits and the history behind them. And there's even some simple design advice to help you make the biggest impact. If you place the rack against a feature wall, it just immediately elevates it from furniture to a true centerpiece. From there, you just arrange your best bottles and glassware with care, and you've created something that's both useful and absolutely beautiful. Now, you might be having some practical questions pop into your head about pieces like this. And lucky for us, some of the most common ones have already been answered. So let's take a quick look. All right, first one up, a really practical question about just how versatile these are. Are they only for whiskey, or can wine lovers get in on this too? And the answer is a big, definite yes. The shelves are actually designed to be multifunctional. So whether it's a prized single malt or a vintage bottle of Cabernet, the whole idea is the same, to hold that bottle with that same level of reverence. Okay, the next big question is all about placement. We know it's supposed to be a focal point, but where in the house does a piece like this really shine? Well, the ideal spaces are really the social hubs of a home. In a dining room, it's a natural conversation starter. Put it in a study, and it adds this touch of classic, warm refinement. And of course, in a living room or entertainment room, it can easily become the heart and soul of your home bar. So at the end of the day, A display can be so much more than just a shelf. It can be a real piece of history, an object of art, and a true reflection of your passion. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If your furniture could talk, what kind of stories would it tell?